Good evening, gamers. This will be a starter guide for newer returning players, just to get your boots on the ground at some dungeon or raid content and not suck while you're there. I'm going to be putting out a lot more Destiny content, especially with the new expansion coming out, but I just wanted to make sure I got this quick video out so anyone new to Endgame has a good foundation and can jump right into Ride of the Nine. So, quick overview, here's what we're hitting today. Power level, armor stats, armor mods, abilities and subclasses, which ties in with gear and loadouts, and most importantly, communication. Let's start with power level. Open the chest in the Ride of the Nine area. It's free for everybody, and you can do it on all three characters to get a set of max power gear. Most everything in there is kind of mid, honestly, but Chain of Command is actually really solid. I use that myself, even on contest difficulty things. But that's it for power level. You are now done, and you are ready to tackle all in-game activities by the numbers. But let's go over the rest. For armor stats, you want 90 resilience at minimum. Plain and simple. It's easier to learn, do mechanics, and just play the game when your Guardian isn't as easy to kill as a Trostland Dreg. Now, stats are changing massively with the upcoming expansion, so for the 2 months we have until then, just go with this, where once you have 90 or 100 resilience, ideally, through armor mods and whatever else you have, boost up your discipline or strength, depending on what makes sense for your build, and honestly, that's really it. Stick with that rule of thumb until the expansion, you'll be good. Now for armor mods, some of the most important ones are going to be on your legs. You'll want to put on surge mods that match the damage type of whatever you're doing boss damage with. For example, if you're running Lord of Wolves, which is really good right now, you'll want solar surges on your legs. I recommend 2 surges and 1 recuperation mod for a good damage buff and some reliable healing when you pick up any orbs. Time dilation on your class item will make the surges last longer, and siphons on your helmet that match whatever you're killing ads with will proc those orbs for you. Then fill in the rest of the mods with whatever makes sense. Now do not forget the stat mods. I always recommend slotting them in first to make sure you're hitting decent stats. Like I mentioned before, make sure you're getting up to 90 resilience at minimum. It's really, really important. Now we're going to talk about subclasses and abilities, but this is assuming you have all of your subclasses fully unlocked. If you don't, you'll want to play through the associated campaigns, get all of your aspects and fragments from the associated vendors, and then you can get building. Hunters, you'll want to run Golden Gun for bosses as a general rule. Sometimes different supers are better, sometimes your team might need a tether. So buffing your super with something like Orpheus Riggs or Celestial Nighthawk is all you'll really need to bring a ton of value to the team, especially during boss damage phases. The other supers are not bad, but it's important to learn those 2 that I mentioned, the tether and Golden Gun, in a team setting, so you're able to get a feel for just standard damage phases and how to contribute a lot. Titans, I'm sure you know Thunder Crash is of course the GOAT, but Twilight Arsenal can be a really good source of weaken that you can reapply quickly throughout a longer damage phase, such as the Ghost of the Deep bosses, maybe even Vesper's Host bosses. But just like Hunters, the other supers are not bad. You'll just want to learn those 2, I would say, as a good way to kind of build a foundation of understanding how to really effectively use your super. Now for Warlocks, Song of Flame is absurdly strong. Well of Radiance is great too, especially with the exotic chest piece Sanguine Alchemy, but it's also less flexible and less survivable in harder difficulties. So if you want to do some damage with a super, Nova Bomb plus the exotic class item with Spirit of Star Eater is great too. Though my recommendation is Song of Flame for the combo of big scorch stacks, ability regen, and damage reduction that it gives you and your team. And then for your abilities, just fill those in with whatever you'd like and whatever works for your build. As far as loadouts go, just make sure you know what your team needs for any given encounter. If you just need to add clear and then have a boss damage weapon, that's pretty easy and flexible, but don't shy away from switching up your build to support the team as needed. In harder difficulties, support abilities and weapons such as healing grenades, support frame auto rifles, and other ways to buff your team like Ascension are fantastic for making sure your team is able to stay super healthy during intense encounters. Now for the most important section, communication. Fellas, you've gotta communicate. Do not go into any raid or dungeon without some way of communicating things like callouts or strats. Text chat, voice chat, it really doesn't matter. Just make sure to be a good listener, work with your team, and ask questions if you're not sure what to do. I myself have taught hundreds and hundreds of raids and dungeons to first-timers, but the only people who ever bother me in any way are the ones who aren't trying to learn. If you mess up a lot, but you're asking questions and are actually trying to improve, that's great, and anyone giving you shit for that should uninstall the game permanently. But if you're just begging for a carry, you're not trying to help with mechanics, you're not trying to learn, you just don't belong in team content, and I suggest going back to patrols, which are probably more your speed. Additionally, it's very important to make sure you and your team have the same goals. If you're new to an activity and you join a group that's asking for a fast clear KWTD, know what to do, you are the problem, and them kicking you is not toxic or elitist. Just make it clear that you're new, and most people will have no problem helping you out if you state that beforehand. Don't just go in, mess up, be quiet, they're gonna kick you, and that's your fault. Don't try to jump into the hardest difficulty stuff when it's your first time running something either. It'll just be miserable for you, you're probably not gonna learn or get very far, and you'll waste everyone's time. It's important to be respectful of your own time and other people's. Now that's all good advice for when you're already in a raid or dungeon, but part of communication is knowing who to talk to and where. So I recommend going into the Destiny 2 LFG Discord server and making a post in the Find a Sherpa channel. Just say what you want to learn, maybe include your general experience level with the content, and you'll have people tag or DM you and help you learn whatever you want. There's also a non-zero chance that I myself will jump in to help, as I frequent that channel a lot to find more people to help out. So that's really all you need to get started on in-game content in Destiny. I didn't cover every single detail since a lot is changing with the expansion, and hopefully you'll be able to take these points and think for yourself a bit as you get more familiar with the build crafting sandbox. But if you need more guidance or have specific questions that I didn't cover here, there's a link to my clan Discord server in the description, and I'd love to help answer your questions over there, or on my Twitch if I happen to be live. I'm going to be running a lot of endgame content over there. Destiny is my favorite game, so I'm excited to get more videos out that I think could help inform people better. So if you found this one helpful, subscribe for more.